apologize. First of all, number one, I forgot to say this is band 2. Some people got up here going, I don't see my child up here. This is band 2. Thank you for being here. And there were a couple of names when they did the programs, the field of, whatever cuts names off, accidentally cut off 3 or 4 percussion students at the end of the list. So we have copies of that, and we can give that to you when the students go over next door at the end and you pick them up in the music building. The counselors will have a copy of that with the corrections on it. Okay? Everybody got it? Good? Okay, this is band 2. And again, I get to hire the staff that comes here and works with your children all week long. And they are exhausted. They are exhausted. This is a mental exercise for these young adults, okay? A lot of it is not just about the notes and the rhythms and the correct fingering and things like that. It's like, can you do it again and try to focus and do it the same way and make one improvement, okay? And they've been great this week. And I can tell you the conductors that you'll see tonight with the bands are the best in the country, okay? The next person that's conducting band 2 is, his name is Tom Harrington, and he's a very good friend of mine, and he's had a wonderful career in the music education field. I was fortunate to be able to work with him a few years, and he is the top of the profession, and he has been the leader in our profession with the Texas Bandmasters Association. You'll see him throughout the year judging the UIL solo and ensemble contests. You'll see him at the UIL concert and sight reading contest. He's out clinicking bands all throughout the state. He's doing presentations everywhere, and we're very lucky to have him with us this year. And I can also say he's done this band camp for over 20 years, okay? Which is pretty amazing to give up your time 1 week in the summertime when you're doing high school band, marching band, middle school band, and things like that. And so let's give him a round of applause.
Just mentioned briefly about that piece. That was called Carpathian, And when I first saw that in the catalog, I thought like, oh, Carpathian Mountains. But no, the Carpathian was the ship that came to the rescue first of the Titanic. So the idea of it is that this was, that starts slow, just like it's a normal everyday thing for them, and all of a sudden they get the distress call, and they turn around and they start heading towards the Titanic, and the feet rumbling in that's supposed to be the ship that's not used to going all ahead full is going all ahead full, and so it's kind of shaking and doing that. My son is in the Navy, and he'll talk about like, Dad, the speed of my ship is classified. I'm like, oh, well, he says, I think really the reason it's classified is because today maybe it'll go 28 knots. Tomorrow maybe it'll go 32 knots. We don't really know. So that's a risky thing when you make a ship do what it's not used to doing. So anyway, that was a fun piece. The next piece we're going to do is called Dancing Snakes, and it kind of features the percussion section. And so I hope you enjoy Dancing Snakes. Mr. Carlin mentioned briefly about how great your kids have been this week. We have had to do this 13 hours of rehearsal. And so that's really not a lot to put together 4 songs, 13 hours of rehearsal, because they did have some masterclass time, but in those masterclasses they were working on how to play their instrument. They were working on continuing the skills to become a proficient musician and to do that process. So they were getting a lot of great help. All of the teachers a lot of them were band directors, some of them were private teachers in the Houston area, but they are all like they were a band director that's a clarinet player that's working with the clarinet section, or it's a band director that's a flute player that's working with the flutes all week long, it's the same person. So they're getting great instruction on that. they've been very busy. They play for 3 hours in the morning, they're playing for 2 hours in the afternoon, and then on Wednesday we added another hour on Wednesday night after dinner and before the dance. So they've been playing a lot this week. I think their lips are about to fall off. They've been playing. I think they've never imagined they would play that much. The camp is a wonderful thing. This camp has been around for a long time. I think Miss Santarelli, who's going to be doing the next band, I think her mom went to this camp. And so it's a great Texas tradition. It's one of the first band camps in the state. And I think the only year that the camp didn't happen was the COVID year. And so it's a wonderful tradition. I've been proud to be a part of this camp since 1998. I was so flattered when Robert asked me to do that as a very young band director in 1998. And so anyway, I wanted to thank Robert Carlin, who's the manager of this camp, who did the introductions here. So I want to thank him for that. Also, Dr. McInturf, who is the director of bands for here, and he's been a wonderful friend over the years. He's not able to be here tonight. And also Dr. Brian Gibbs, who's the associate director. He's actually now the acting associate director of the Fine Arts Department here. So I'm always grateful to those people to be a part of this camp and to be a part of this process, to have some contact with these kids. We also have Israel Lopez, who I think is back here, and he's the band director in Conroe ISD at Grand Oaks High School, and also Perla is around here somewhere. There she is. Perla has been our go-to girl for the week. She has been everything the kids have needed, because we have kind of different roles than we do as normal band directors on a week like this. We're kind of divided up in what we do because we have them all day long. So it's a different experience for the teachers and for the kids. So thank you, Perla, for being here and doing that with us this week. She's a student here, one of the camp counselors, but she's assigned to this band. Please support public education. Please support music in your schools. And I think it's very important that kids have the opportunity to do this. It really is when I have like my off period in the morning and I'm kind of wandering around the music building and I see all these different people working with kids and seeing what's happening. And I strongly believe that the study of music is a very important thing for the development of people. I think the human element that brings to it, that, I'm going to tell you, like playing the clarinet, it's hard. The clarinet has like all these 3-octave scales and all these fingerings, and when you miss it, it screams at you. It's not pleasant when that happens, and it builds a certain level of resistance and resilience that for a human being to get, okay, and do it again. And do it again, and to do it again. Because we get better, and the long-term gratification that they get through a long-term study of music over 7 years, from 6th grade to 12th grade. Most of them start in 6th grade, but through 12th grade. And to do that I think is very important. My own children, both of my boys, specifically, were in band all through their years of school. One of them is off in the Navy, as I said, so he went to school here. He was in the marching band, but not a music major. He just liked playing his trumpet and liked doing it as an activity. It was a great activity to do in college. And then he went off into the Navy. My other boy, he is a graduate music student in New York City. So I have one that's a musician and one that's not. Both of them, regardless of whether or not they decide to do music, benefited from the activity immensely. Right now, these kids, when we ask them to do something, right now they're kind of like, well, how do I do that? Like they don't really, the independence isn't really developed yet. When they do their first week of summer band as a high school student, that's going to change like that. When they have that first football game and they have to see what they have to do and start managing themselves, it will change like that. I think the change that your child will have after the first month to 6 weeks being in marching band will be noticeable to you. Their level of independence to do things on their own where you don't have to tell them every little step and every little detail. I think that's one of the things that me, having taught middle school for 27 years, And then moving and doing high school, that I really noticed that difference in my own children and the students that I worked with. So stay in band and support it in your school, because I think it's really, really important. Okay, we're going to move on to, we've got 2 more pieces. This next one is a pretty piece for you. It's called Lananakia. And how did I do? Lananakia, sort of. Okay, I have an expert back there. This helped me with my pronunciation of that. And but this is just kind of the pretty thing, so we can develop those skills of playing smoothly and lyrical and that. And then we'll do some awards after this piece. Thank you.
gives out an Outstanding Camper Award, and it's based upon citizenship, leadership, and musicianship. And you don't have to always sit first chair. It's just a matter of character and what you do in this environment, especially away from your parents and your family. And some of these students, it's the first time away. Some of them, they've been here and they understand all of that. And we're going to hand out some awards with Mr. Polly, my assistant, and Mr. Harrington. Our first Outstanding Band Camper Award From St. Joseph Catholic School in the flute section is Faith Newman. From Strike Middle School, also in the flute section, Sophie Miles. From Rogers Middle School, playing the oboe, Anna Wong. From Rogers Middle School, playing the oboe, Naomi Bird. From Watkins Middle School, Calvin Sanford. Playing the clarinet. Playing the bass clarinet from Goodson Middle School, Aubrey Enoch. From Central Middle School, in the tenor saxophone section, J.C. Canton. From York Junior High, playing alto saxophone, Haley Maldonado. From Mance Park, playing the Barry saxophone, Esri McHale. From Manville Junior High, playing French horn, Lydia Bennett. From Arnold Middle School, playing the trumpet, Santino Germano. From Wood Creek Middle School, also in the trumpet section, Franklin Hodge. In the trombone section from Gretchen Elementary School, Kara Ritchie. From Strike Middle School, also in the trombone section, Emerson Willis. From Trammell Intermediate, in the euphonium section, Logan Ramsey. From Arnold Middle School, also in the euphonium section, Aiden Thompson. Syllabus Section, Caleb Herring. In the percussion section from Goodson Middle School, Elizabeth Mattis. And also in the percussion section, also in the percussion section from Dory Intermediate School, Clint Collins. And let's give all of these students on stage. Okay, we're going to have a brief intermission. We're gonna take these students on stage and we're gonna walk down the hallway and they're gonna go over to the music building. If you can let the students get through those doors and into the next building, we have another band coming in. We have to do a setup change, and then we'll get started with band one shortly afterwards. Again, thank you so much for picking Sam Houston State University for this week's summer band.